Our goal is to do things that no other law firm has ever done before.
Our technology brings the future to you today.
We're the next era in the way legal transactions are handled.
Okay, everyone, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And on today's webinar, what we're going to be doing is going through real estate agent checklists. So I put it out on Facebook Live a couple weeks ago. Had a ton of agents contributing to what these lists have now become. And so we have 3 different versions for you, actually. So let me show you. We're going to make one that staples to your folder. So it's a paper-based checklist that when you have, this is a new buyer, for example, you put all their information in the folder if you're still using that. And we have all the items that you would need to do, and you could check off. We've also created a poster that goes on your wall. So we have different posters. We have a just listed, a just sold, we have a new buyer, open house. We have a ton of different checklists. And you're going to get a copy of all these checklists, and you're going to be able to edit all of these checklists because we made them in Word document and a PowerPoint. But then I'm also going to show you Trello. So we use a free tool called Trello, and that allows us to basically take this checklist system digital. So some of you already have a database management tool like Top Producer, for example. It has checklists built into it specific to real estate. Not everybody does, though, and other people that do have systems like that, they don't use them. So Trello might be a good alternative for you to look at, considering it's free, and we already built out all of the checklists in it for you, so you can just download a copy and you'll be able to use it directly off your phone. So I'm going to start off by sharing with you the paper-based system, so the folder one and then the poster one. So the paper-based one looks like this. On the top right of the piece of paper that I want to give you has an area where you can put the client's name, their spouse, their cell phone, home phone, their work, their email, the MLS number, the closing date, the price, any conditions that you have, and any notes. Down below that is a checklist of all the things that you should do, like get a copy to the other agent, get a copy to your client, get a copy to the lender, make sure you have the deposit and receipt of funds. And we've made it in a way that you can edit these, because obviously every agent does business a little bit differently. So you're going to be able to edit this to fit your own needs. You can shuffle these items around, you could add some, you could delete some as well. And so that's what the folder system looks like. And then the poster system is the one that I gravitated to. I really like this one. I'll zoom in. And the reason for that is because on one piece of paper, this is 11 by 17 piece of paper that you can print off in your own machine at the office. And on the left, you see it has all of the addresses and MLS. And then going across, we just check off. We actually used initials so that whoever did that task would put their initial. And that way we know who did what, and then we can also see glaring holes of what's missing and what still needs to be done. Then to the right, we have some columns for the price, the date, and the client's phone number and name. You can obviously change those however you like. And then, again, we made it in a way that you can edit and add your own items to these checklists. So this is a starting point. Some of you will be able to just use this right out of the box, but others of you are going to want to add and edit to be your own flavor. I really like the poster system because the folder one, what happens is you staple it to the folder, you put it in the filing cabinet, and guess what? You never take it back out of the filing cabinet, or it's just too easy to miss things. But if it's on a poster on your wall, you can clearly see the things that you still have to do, and it also saves paper. One piece of paper, 1117, could fit like 10 clients on it, for example. Now, we're going to give you a download. It's going to be a Word document and a PowerPoint of each. So the Word document is the folder system. The PowerPoint is the poster system. So we have a buyer close, a coming soon, a new buyer, a new listing, open house, and a seller close. So those are the common checklists that most agents need. When real estate agents think of checklists, they usually, some of them anyways, think of like the home buyer checklist, like don't forget to change your address and that sort of thing. This isn't for the client. This is for your eyes. So it's a business checklist for you as a real estate agent because there's so many hats that you have to wear and it's easy to forget. and not do some things. So it's very much a systematized business that we're in, and it's very linear as well. So this is what the seller close checklist consists of. You would get a copy of the offer to the other agent, scan email, full copy to the client, get a copy to the lawyer, make sure that you have the deposit and receipt of funds. If you have to do a trade record in your area and all the paper required by the office is done, we would actually itemize that. Say our office required 3 different sets of paper, like the buyer or seller representation, the offer for the property, and then maybe some other information that's required by law. We would have a checklist for each one of them. Order the sign down a week before closing date, install a sold sign writer, remove the lockbox, do just sold direct mail, just sold Facebook ads and Instagram ads around the address, just sold posters. So you can have different team members know what roles are theirs, and they'll be able to just check them off as they go. Add client to your birthday plan, for example. So I'm not going to read them all. The last one is a pretty good one, I think, though. Let the manager know if they, the other agent, should be working with us and to call them, and that's a recruiting touch. So if you just did a deal with another agent and they're a really cool person to work with, you definitely would want to do more business with them. They're positive, inspiring, and somebody that you would want to hang with, then definitely reach out to your manager and let them know and say, hey, yeah, I just did a deal with so-and-so, and I thought you should reach out to them. They did a great job because of, and tell them what they did. And it'll definitely help your office grow. I mean, usually the more agents that you have in your office, the better off the office does, because then your management can afford more systems and tools for you. So that's a cool little item that we added for you. Now, Trello is the digital version of this. So eventually we had to get away from the paper-based system. So I'm going to share with you how to use Trello for free. And there's an orange link in the middle. It says bit.ly/go Trello free. You can go to that on your phone or on your computer and create a free account. And when I've send this video recording out and you're watching it later, I'm going to put the links in the description of the video. So the link will be there as well. So this is what Trello looks like. It basically creates a project. And so we use it for our project management. So along the top, you can see we have a coming soon list, a just listed list, an open house list, just sold, new buyer, buyer closed. And all of these have checklists built into them. So if we had a new client get signed up with us today, we would just make a copy of one of the checklists and then set it up for that client. And then eventually what you're going to have is a whole bunch of cards going down. Like you see all these bricks right here? Well, eventually it'll be all of your clients. And you can drag and drop. So say I wanted to drag this coming soon, and now it's listed, I could move it over to just listed, and then just sold. So you can move them around. It's really, really cool. So this is what one looks like when you open it up. We already built the checklist for you, and you can see the arrow is pointing. It says 14% done. So it's cool that it gives you an interactive view of how far along the process you are. So, and not everything is super linear. Like maybe you order up the sign, and you've arranged the home stager, but you haven't got the lockbox installed or the keys cut. So you skip that one, you do the other stuff, and then you know eventually, oh yeah, we still don't have the lockbox. So it shows you what's not done. Over on the right, I'll zoom in, it allows you to add members. So you can add a team member, for example. So your admin, your buyer agents, your seller agents, or whoever else, your marketing team, you could add them as members to the board. That way they have access, and they can check off their specific tasks. It also has a thing called labels. So eventually you're going to have so many cards, contacts, and projects on the go that it can be hard finding them if you've got a lot. So you can label them, and you can say active buyers, active sellers, closings, whatever you want to label it as, you could label. What I like about this also is the due date. You can't necessarily do that with a piece of paper, but it will have a scheduled due date for when things are to be done. And the attachments. So not only can you have a checklist and notes about the client, but you can have all of the attachments. So if you have a buyer rep agreement signed, and you've got like working with a realtor paperwork signed, and you've got an offer on the go, you can attach all of the PDFs and things that you signed in this one card. They call them cards. And so what's cool about that is we used to use Dropbox, and it was basically a folder. And in that folder, we would have like random photos of the property and a video of the property, and it was a big shuffled mess. It wasn't connected with any database. It was just like all of the information in that one folder, but it was still kind of scattered. But with this, anything that you attach, and I'll show you in a second, gets attached to this one card. Therefore, when you archive this project and you pull it up in 2 years or 5 years, you have all of the closing contracts and all the information. So I love Trello, and it's 100% free. Really, really cool. It's also mobile friendly, and I'm sorry for the glitchiness. I don't know why that's happening, but anyways, it's mobile friendly. It works from your computer, laptop, your tablet, and your smartphone. It's both web-based mobile friendly, so you could just go to it using the website on your phone, or you can download the app. The iPad, iPhone, Samsung, they've all got Trello as an app in the App Store that you can download for free, and it's really, really cool. So here's some ideas on some other ways that you could use Trello. I use it for my rental properties, so I have one board for just my rental properties, and I'll have a different list for each of the different properties, and then all the things like each house has a different Wi-Fi username and password that I never remember, so I need that sometimes. Important information, I put everything together on one board. All of my listings could be another board. You could even have all of your leads in a separate board if you worked it that way. I would probably stick to working with a database on that, but anyways, you could work it for working your leads. You could even do it for simple things like things to do at home, like your own to-do list. Because you can invite team members, that means you could also invite your spouse, your husband or your wife or your partner, and you could have a board that is strictly for the family, for like a shopping list, or if you guys are going on a road trip, all the things that you have to do. We have to buy this, we have to pick this up, we have to make sure this is done, yada yada. And collaboratively, the two of you or the four of you or how many can add things to the list, you can check things off, and it'll update everybody's device for free. So that's really cool. How I fell in love with Trello was actually working with virtual assistants. For me, when I work with a virtual assistant, it's very project-based. I break everything down into specific projects. And so Trello allows me to do that. I'll just create a new project. My assistant is working on it, and then when they're done with it, they'll move it over onto my board. So it's really, really interactive. It's very fluid. I love it. My own projects, so I have my own projects on the go. Say I got a blog that I have to write out, seminars and events also. I do it for I have a 4-hour half-day boot camp, and so I use Trello to put together my timeline of what I'm going to cover, when and how, and all the links along the way. It's pretty cool. It's right at my hip on my phone if I need it. And then office systems. So because I made a Trello board for you guys of all of my checklists, think about if your office made one for your own office that was specific to things to do with your office. That's totally something that you guys could do, and it's free. So I'm going to open up what the paper-based one looks like, and then I'm also going to open up what the poster one looks like, just to show you an example of the Word document versus the PowerPoint. And then I want to dive more deeply into Trello. So let me close this. All right, here we go. It's coming soon, Word document. Open that up, and you can see I even named it. Up at the top it says saved as, and I put the name of what we named it. That way, if you have this piece of paper printed to your folder and you're like, oh no, I got to print more, you can just search your computer for that, and it'll come right up. Up at the top right box is all the information I think you should have, but obviously you can edit this to add your own things. And then down below, we have the checklist for the different things we do. So this is a coming soon checklist, things like sending out the email to the team, posting for free on the classified website like Craigslist, asking for the referral. That's really important. You guys don't ask for referrals enough. And so we added that as part of our checklist. So you can obviously edit this. You can just double click and type whatever you want. That's what the Word document looks like. And then the PowerPoint version of that is going to be a little bit different. The reason why we created it in PowerPoint is because most people in business have PowerPoint. And so we created it in PowerPoint because you don't necessarily have graphic design tools. This one is pretty simple. It's all text-based. Along the top, you can just double-click, and you can edit the text. So if I zoom in a bit. So here's, you got to get a copy to the other agent. You got to scan email the client, and then you would just put your initials down here or check off as they get done. Going along the top, you can edit it, obviously, to be whatever you need. On the left, we have the address and the MLS, and then our checklist as things need to get done. And then we put the price, the date, the client, and their phone number. We don't put all their information on this. We just put the client's name and their phone number because that's usually what we have to do is call them. If we were to email them, we would just go to our database. So this isn't to hold all of the information. It's more of just the checklist for that specific task. And this example is a buy or close, but we gave you just listed, just sold, coming soon, open house. So there's a version for all of them. And we made different colors. So this one is the black one, but we made blue, green, red, yellow, teal, orange, purple. So we made all different colors. That way you can rock whatever brand you got going for yourself and team image. Now, what I really want to get into is the Trello side of things. So I'm going to give you the link. I'm going to put this link directly in the video notes. And if you're watching live, I'm going to copy and paste it for you right now. So I just messaged everybody with those links. So the first link is for you to get Trello for free. You're probably going to want to do this from a computer before you download the app. So go to the URL that I have up here, trello.com/danwood/recommended. What that does is it just gets me a free month of the premium version, but I don't even care. I use the free version anyway. So if you do it, thank you. Otherwise, it's free for everybody regardless. So this is what Trello would look like, and you would obviously sign up, and it's free. Once you have signed up, you're going to get an email confirmation, so you should definitely watch for that and confirm that your email is real. After you've done that, you're going to want to log into Trello, and your Trello is going to look like this. They might have a board that says like getting started. For some reason, I closed it. I probably shouldn't have. So anyways, your screen will look a little bit different. If you want to create a new board yourself, you'll just click this button that says create a new board, and then you'll name it. So I'll just call it test, but you would call it family, or you would call it real estate. The title of this is kind of like the bucket where you're going to put everything into. So I would break it down at the highest level. For this example, I'll call it test. It's defaulted to private, but you can change that so that other people, if I make mine public, then other people are going to be able to see it. So you're probably not going to want to do that if you're putting personal information. So make sure it's on private and hit create. So this is what a blank Trello board looks like. It's pretty scary and daunting. I'm going to switch over and show you what one looks like after you've cleaned it all up. So this is what my Trello board looks like. So I'm going to give you this link. This is the link right here if you needed it. I'm going to put it in the show notes as well, and I'm going to make a shorter version of it. And when you get here, very important, up at the top right, it's going to say show menu, more, copy board. So if you go to this URL on any computer and then go to copy board, what it's going to do is it's going to make a direct carbon copy of this board so that you don't have to do everything. It's already done for you. I'll go through and show you what's on this board. So on the first list here is agent resources. So this I just put my contact information in case you needed to reach me. And then I put a checklist. So these are all the programs that I offer agents. If you need seller leads, if you want to do geographic farming ads, we do that. One-on-one coaching, digital marketing templates if you need that, office seminars and more. And then down below, I have a whole bunch of my videos. So if you want to watch a video on Top Producer or getting real estate relocation leads, how to work YouTube. So I put a bunch of my videos down here. And then I put a list of all my top tools and apps. So you can click there and check them out. Those are all the tools that I use frequently. Under this one here, it says free download. So if you click on this, it is going to have all of those Word documents and PowerPoints. So here's the Word document. It says checklist seller close. That's the folder system. It's 8.5.11. And then checklist open house 11.17, checklist open house 8.5.11. So the PowerPoints or the poster, the Word documents are the one that staples to the folder. So you can just go ahead and click the button. It'll say download, and you can, oh, why'd that happen? Oh, I have to hit download at the bottom and then save it to my computer. And then you will have, I would suggest you do all of them. That way you just have them all on your computer saved somewhere, and then you don't necessarily need this anymore. So if you didn't need this anymore, say you downloaded everything, you can actually move it. Normally. Okay, so my computer has frozen, but normally I can grab this, click and hold, and then I could move it over to the right, and everything will reorder, which is really handy. I put together all of the lists, so here's the coming soon list. So you would click on this right here, and I was already doing an example. So here's all the items that we have. So you could delete the ones that you don't want. You could add your own and then save them as a template. Now, oh, this is why, because I haven't made the copy yet. So if I go, I was wondering why my computer wasn't working. It's because I'm looking on the demo account and I'm not under my account, because I wanted to show you how to make a copy of it. Settings. Okay, right. So if you click the link and you want to make a copy of this, you go show more, and then you copy the board. Once you have the board copied, then you'll be able to do things like drag and drop. See how I can move this around? So you can reorder your different lists. I made the checklist here, and it's already like partially checked off, so I can take these off. What I like to do is when I am working with a new client, what I want to do is hit the copy button, and it says coming soon checklist, and I'll rename it. So I'll say coming soon 123 Street, for example. And then I'll hit, I can say what board do I want it on. I want it on the coming soon board, and I want it to be at the top, position number 1. So I want to hit create card. When I do that, here it is here. So I made a direct copy of it. The reason why you want to make a copy of it is, say I am going through and I make notes about this client, blah, 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 and I save some information, so there's the information there. I upload a bunch of photos and I check off all this stuff. Well, when you make a copy of, for the next client, it's going to copy everything that you did. It's going to have a copy of the client's name and all their information. So you're always going to want a clean version. So the coming soon checklist, you're always going to want to make a copy of that. If you happen to screw up somehow and you write over the file, I made another folder over here called templates, make a copy, and it's all of the checklists. In case you screw up one of these ones, I made a secondary list over here for you. So let's take a look at Trello and some of the features. If I click on the board here, I could add members. So if I click on add members, I can say, oh, I need Becky on it. Becky.keys. Becky.keys@gmail.com. And I would be able to search her and then select her as an option. I already did it, so it didn't give me the drop-down. But when you do that in the future, if a person has created their Trello account and have confirmed access, then when you search their email, it'll pop up in a little drop-down here, and you can choose their name, and then it's going to automatically add them as a member to the board. When you add a member to your board, they have full access to edit it just like you do. So they can delete things and they can screw things up too. So make sure that they watch this video to make sure that they don't screw things up. The labeling system, so you could rename these. So I could say, okay, all the green ones are active clients, for example. And I want it as green. So you could have color coding so that, I don't know how you would use that. I don't use that feature for me personally, but you could if you needed to have some sort of labeling system. That's a good way of doing it. Here I have a checklist, and I already built it out for you, but if you want to build one from scratch, you would just click on the checklist button and then name it. So I'll call it checklist 2. And now I have 2 checklists. So this is one thing that's really cool about Trello is normally programs like this, it's usually one big checklist, like a run-on sentence. But you can have multiple checklists. You could have a checklist for the admin team, and you could have a checklist for the agents, for example. So you could break it down into different checklists, which is really, really handy. Assigning a due date, obviously you can assign due dates, really handy. Attachments. So here, I'll add an attachment. You can connect things like your Dropbox, OneDrive, your Box, whatever. I'm just going to add something from my computer. I'll do desktop. Okay, let's say we got a new listing, for example, so we have to load a bunch of the photos. So I'll select a couple of the photos. And it is uploading those. So you can see there's a section right here in the middle that says attachments. So, and they're timestamped as well. So as you have your contracts and paperwork, you could upload everything here in one folder, and now you got your checklist. Up at the top under the description, you could have the client's name, phone, email, address. Obviously, you'd be probably working from a database, but here I just put the basic information. That way we have a copy of it on the card itself. Hit save, and it has all of your attachments right here. And now that I have that loaded, anybody else who has a copy of my board now has these photos directly on their phone. So your marketing team, your admin, and your agents all have the photos and access while they're on the road, which is really handy. And make a cover. So let me just delete these. I don't need these. Delete. 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 So what this remove cover, make a cover thing is any of the photos that you attach can actually be the header of that card. It kind of just makes it prettier and easier to find people. You can also search. So I called this one 123 Street. So if I type in 123 Street, it is going to put that card for me at the top here. So once you have, like, say you carry 16 listings and you got a bunch of closings, eventually your screen is going to get filled up. So you can use this search bar just like a Google search, and you can search any of the information that you typed out. One other thing that's really, really handy, let me go back to here. Oh no, it's not up here. It's up in the Show More option. So if I click Show More, Email to Board Settings. So let me click that. Trello is really cool. It creates a unique email address for every board that you have. So say I have a to-do. Let me just make one. I want to make my own personal to-do list. Dan's to do. Okay, so I got my Dan's to-do list. I'm going to add a card to it, and it's going to say to do. All right. Then when I click on that, I can obviously make a checklist, and these are all the things that I want to get done. So this is my checklist, and I'll say order cards. Call Laura, email Steve, like whatever your to-dos are, right? Well, look at this. Now that I have that board created, Dan's to-do, up at the top right, more options, it says email board settings. So because I created that list, it's called Dan's To Do, I'm going to select that and put it at the top. So now, whenever I email, say I get an email and I have to do something, I could forward it to this email right here, and it's automatically going to attach that on that Trello board, and then I don't have to clog up my email system. So if you got a lot of emails, I mean, you could even have your leads, for example. Say you get an internet lead, because you get a lead from different sources. You'll get one from your MLS, you'll get one from your own personal website, you'll get one from your franchise or real estate office, perhaps. Classified ads like Craigslist, for example. You've got leads coming in from multiple sources, and not all of you have it where it's all put into one system. So if that's the case, you could just forward anything that's lead related to your Trello board, and it will put it on Trello for you, and you can clean up your email. Really, really, really handy stuff. Somebody says in the comments, we use Boomtown for our CRM. Can that be integrated with Trello? You know what? It's possible that it can be. This is a little techie. Zapier.com. I'm going to do a webinar specifically on Zapier in the future. App directory. What Zapier does is it connects one program with another program. And I have a link that will get you 100 free zaps a month, which most of you won't go over. Let me just explore, search, you said Boomtown. So it's not looking like it would work directly with Boomtown, but you could ask Boomtown because they might have their own API that works with Zapier. That's a good question, though. But for a lot of you, you guys do use other programs. Like, say you use, I tell most people a free database is Agile CRM. So there it is there. A lot of you use BombBomb. So there's BombBomb right there. There's a whole bunch of programs. I don't think Top Producer, no. MailChimp. So there's MailChimp right there. So you could have it where anybody who is subscribes to your MailChimp list automatically add them to Trello for a follow-up, maybe. There's tons of different ways that you could leverage it. Since we're here, I might as well get you my link, bit.ly. You'll definitely want this. So it's bit.ly, bit.ly/go Zapier, GOZAPIER, or ZAPIER if you're in Canada or the States. Anyways, that particular link will get you 100 free zaps per month. Cool. In fact, I'll copy it in the board for you. Okay, I just chatted that for the webinar group. So let me go back to my Trello. So here's an example of another Trello board that I have. This is the one for my, Becky and I were about to start a road trip. So we have different properties. So we have different addresses that we have to take care of. So there's things that we have to do before we hit the road. So I created a list just for our properties. And there's a shopping list for the things that we have to buy for the different properties, and then the things that we have to do for each respective property. Then I have a shopping list, so if I click this open, we need to look at a bed and a couch. We have to get some lights, fruit and salad. Oh yeah, I guess we had to get fruit and salad, a fire extinguisher, tiles and grout, and dishes. So that's a pretty random list of things that we had to shop for. But she has that on her phone now, so when she's at Walmart or Costco or wherever, she can take a look at the list and be like, oh yeah, we got to get fruit and salad, and then check it off the list. So really, really handy, not just for business, but also for your own personal lives. And what I love is that it's connected and free, because there's so many tools out here that you have to pay for on a monthly basis. Not Trello. They do have a monthly plan where you can pay for it, but you don't need it. I mean, their free plan is basically to add extra bells and whistles like stickers and really gimmicky stuff. but for the core of the program, you can do this 100% free. So that's what the checklist is. I'm going to email a copy of this to everybody. I don't have to spend a whole hour going over it. Oh, one thing I am going to share with you, though, is this. If you Google search, I'll Google search and show you. I Google search Trello tips. I Google searched Trello tips. I skipped the ads, so if there's any ads, skip them. And right here, it's called the Ultimate Board of Trello Tips and Tricks. When you click on that, it will open up and look like this. And they go through and give you all the way more advanced stuff that I don't even use. But you might be like, oh, what? You can do that? Awesome. So I skip the power-ups. Add a list anywhere. What's this? So if I take a look, it says, double-click between two lists on the board to add a new list in between those lists. Cool. Didn't know you could do that. So you can do that. Create cards by email. So if you're like, oh, Danny talked about that, but I don't really know how, you click that, and it has a direct link to the support page showing you how to do the emailing. Customizing the board background. So you saw on this board, it's got the really cool ocean, aerial view of the ocean, because we're doing a road trip to the ocean, so I thought that was cool. For you, this guy, he's got the stars in the background. When you have the free version, it's going to be a basic color, like red, blue, black, green, yellow, whatever. If you want to change the backgrounds, this will show you how to do it. You might have to pay to change the background color, though. Subscribe to lists and boards. It's going to tell you, you can actually subscribe to a particular list. So this here is a list, and this whole thing is a board. So you could subscribe to it to get notified on activity that's happening if you're like a senior manager or something, or got nothing else to do with your time. You can mention other members. So if you do have a large team, you can actually tag their name and be like, no, Becky, you got to do this. And it'll really emphasize for them so that, oh, it's really cool how you can communicate as a team and as a group. So when you're looking at a board, let me go back. So if I do the list, I can write something here and say, hey, Beck. And I can write out a conversation. So we could have a conversation specific to this. Really, she's just going to text me or call me, or we'll be together. But if you're working as a team, it is a way that you can have a history of the conversation going back and forth. And apparently you can tag them. I don't use that feature, but if you look at the Ultimate Trello board, they are going to teach you how to tag other members. They're going to show you how to drag and drop checklists. So this here is something that you can do on your own time. It's way more advanced than I need. I showed you the basics of how I roll with it, and I've been using it for 5 years daily. Like, Trello is one of the things that I need for my business. Like, I need Trello, I need BombBomb, I need a database, I need Boomerang for Gmail. I mean, I need Jing. Those are my top 5 tools that I use every single day. And Trello, I mean, I'm telling you, you can have so many projects on the go, and it keeps everything so much more organized for you. If there's any other questions, I'm going to stop this recording. Oh, here's one. I love this. I've been looking for something like this for my checklist. Thanks. Awesome. No problem. And I even created your checklist for you. So there you go. You got a head start. Cool. Okay, I'm going to send you guys the recording of this. And, oh, somebody says, what is Boomerang for Gmail? Okay, since I'm here, let me show you what Boomerang for Gmail is. It's only for Gmail, and this is side talk. This is not anything to do with today's webinar, but the question was asked, what's Boomerang for Gmail, because I mentioned it. If you Google search Boomerang for Gmail, it will come right up to the top. Right here, Boomerang for Gmail. You'll click that and log in. It looks pretty sketchy when you go. Like, I didn't know how trustworthy I was of it, but I've been using it for a couple of years now. And like I say, I would not do business without it. So I'm going to go to my inbox, take a look at my email. I don't know what's there. Hopefully nothing super private. Okay, let's pretend this LinkedIn is an internet lead. So I'm going to click on that. So say I got an internet lead today. So this is not an internet lead, but if it was, you would get emailed it. And not always can I deal with it. So maybe I call this person and I send them an email, but I don't have them added to my database and I don't want to not follow up with them. I'll hit the Boomerang button and I'll say, okay, Boomerang this in 2 hours and I'll try again. Or Boomerang this in 2 days or tomorrow morning or at a specific day and time. So I'm going to say Boomerang this tomorrow morning. And it removed it from my inbox, and tomorrow when I wake up, it'll be back up at the top. Another thing I like about Boomerang for Gmail is if I hit compose, I'll make this bigger. So if I hit compose, in your Gmail, all of you have a send button. Well, I have a send later button because of Boomerang. So I could type up an email to somebody, and I can have it scheduled to go out at a specific day and time. So we use that in an example of if we have a home that's closing next Thursday, we'll send them a video the day before, but we might not be able to make the video the day before. So on Monday, we have scheduled to do all of our videos. So we'll make all of our videos on the Monday and then schedule them to go out later on that week or the next week whenever it makes sense for that client. So we would say, okay, send it to them on the 20th at 12:41 or whatever, and hit confirm, and then it is going to send that email at a later date and time. It also has an option to send reoccurring messages. So, I don't need it right now because I'm not actually actively selling real estate. So when we were selling real estate, we had the pro plan. It's $5 a month. So anyways, so for the pro version, I was paying $5 a month, and that allowed me to send. Let me close this. If I typed up an email, so say we had a home closing next month, I would email that client, oh, congratulations, you're moving into the new house. See attached for all the paperwork, the MLS, and any information that you need, and you email the client that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in to my email. I'm going to schedule a reoccurring message to send them that same email every year for the next 4 years, a month before their anniversary. And the email would say something like, hey, Marianne, see attached for all the paperwork regarding your house in case you need it for insurance, refinancing, your mortgage, or you're just curious about the real estate market. I'm always here for you. And then that is going to send her a copy of her contract and all the information, the MLS, on a yearly basis, a month before her home close. And I mean, 3 years in, 4 years in, they're going to reply back and be like, oh yeah, we are thinking of moving. It is the best real estate drip that you can put a person on. And it's not complicated because you're just sending them the email like you normally would send them, but you just use this feature to send it at a later date and on a schedule. So that's an overview of Boomerang for Gmail. Cool. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, you can't really go wrong with Trello. What I would suggest deeply, though, is get used to making a copy of these checklists. So say you got a new open house that's coming up. You're going to want to click on that. Oh, I don't have a, hold on, I got to do it from here. Okay, you got a new open house coming up, so you're going to want to click on that, and you're going to want to click Make a Copy. You have to make a copy of it, because if you don't, you're going to screw it up, and then it's just going to be harder for you going forward. So definitely make a copy of everything that you do. And here's a quick little note. So I'm going to make a copy, and I'll call it 123 Street. I want it to be at the top of my open house list. Now watch, when I hit Create Card, that little pop-up disappeared, and it kept me on the original. So if I make any changes and start adding all the client's information, it's not actually on the copied version. You have to close the window and then open up the one you just made a copy of. It's really stupid. To me, that's the biggest flaw and only flaw that I found with Trello, is that when you make a copy of something and hit Create Card, it should just take you immediately to that new card that you just created. But instead, it leaves you on the old one. So if you end up totally screwing things up, just remember I'm going to email you a link to this entire board, and you can just re-download a fresh copy if you really mess things up. Cool. Okay. Well, I appreciate you all, and I'll keep you posted on what the next webinar is and the date and time. So hopefully you guys stay a little more organized. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!